The liberals, they're racist. Completely, 100% across the board. Acceptance resignation, get somebody else, and move the hell on. When I'm right, I am so right. And in this instance, I'm extremely correct in my assumption that all Democrats, all liberals, all commies, all socialist douchebags, all Marxist weirdos, Kool-Aid haired douchebags out there are racist as racist. Straight across the board, racist. I was going to talk about this. Matter of fact, I think I did, maybe, perhaps. I think it was more of a general concept that if you go off the political plantation of the Democrats, especially if you're African American, especially if you're black, they call you Uncle Tom, Uncle Tim, etc., 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 without even knowing the person. And like I said before, I met Tim Scott. He seems like a reasonable guy, reasonable American. I don't know anything bad about him, perhaps. There's nothing out there in the ether that he was doing wrong. He was, shooting up heroin in a bus station or anything like that. He's just a Republican that, just as black, who's in South Carolina as the senator. That's it. But of course, the Democrats out there, and it doesn't matter what political spectrum of the left they're on, they're all racist. They don't like people that don't kowtow to the leftist ideology. Case in point, in Texas, a Democrat party leader calls Tim Scott a racial slur, and he did, then resigns. Then the Texas Dems won't accept his resignation. There you go. I don't even have to, I can just end the video here. All right, see you guys later. And then cue the music, but I'm not going to do that. You don't agree with them? Fine. I don't agree with leftists. I think you're racist now. Completely 100% across the board. Now, I know what you're going to say. Not all of them are. Well, then why is you feel you had carte blanche to call Tim Scott, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, Uncle Tim? Why? Why? Because you don't agree with his politics? Exactly. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Leslie, you don't agree with the Democrats. You're saying all Democrats are racist. Yes. And this proves my point right here. Do you see anybody on the left side of the political spectrum calling this out? Maybe they have. But it's not been broadcasted in the mainstream media, because that's where usually idiots on the left get their news. So look what we got here. On Tuesday, after Gary O'Connor, the chair of the Lamar County Democratic Party in Texas, had offered his resignation in the wake of the blowback calling Senator Tim Scott an Oreo on Facebook, Lamar County Democratic Party declared it would not accept his resignation. There you go. Why? You would think that if they wanted this thing for the Democrats in Texas to go away, they would just go, okay, we accept it, move it, and move on. Nope. They can't do that. Why? Why can't they do that? Well, it's out of indignance. O'Connor had written that Scott's rebuttal to President Potato's State of the Union speech. I had hoped that Scott might show some common sense. But it seems clear he's a little more than an Oreo with no real principles. Right. But an Oreo meaning that black on the outside, white on the inside. That's what the black Republicans and people who are right of Pol Pot, Lenin, and Stalin have to deal with. Not only racist assholes from the far left, they got to deal with middle left douchebags calling them Oreos, saying they're not black enough. Remember when Biden said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black, or something like that? There you go. If you don't know that Republicans aren't the racist, then you're not listening to what's going on. If you know now that the Democrats and the liberals and those cocksuckers out there, they're racist, the liberals, they're racist. Completely, 100% across the board. Because, like I said, if the Lamar County Democratic Party wanted this stuff to go away, they would just accept his resignation, get somebody else, and move the hell on. Nope, they can't do it. And of course, I already talked about the Urban Dictionary explains the derogatory meaning black on the outside, white on the inside. That's what it means. It's a disparaging comment. It's a disgusting comment for someone on the right side of the political spectrum that's black, who's a senator, a sitting senator, by the way, elected, calling him that name. That's insane. That's ridiculous. But instead, Lamar County Democratic Party doubles the fuck down. Of course they double the hell down. Why wouldn't they? Well, they're stupid, that's why. So, the Lamar County Democratic Party told the Texas Tribune that they had used the last few days to reflect upon this incident. Lamar County Democrats recommit ourselves to conduct our private conversations and our public social media discussions with anti-racist, pro-reconciliation, reconciling attitudes and language. We strongly condemn bigotry of any kind. We'll continue our historic efforts to work for justice and equality for our fellow citizens. Except if you're on the right side of the political spectrum, then you don't deserve that sort of speech or conciliation. The Tribune acknowledged that O'Connor had sent a letter to Scott apologizing for calling him an Oreo. O'Connor had already told the Washington Examiner. And then you can read a statement. I don't believe it one bit. In a statement to the Tribune, O'Connor added to Senator Tim Scott, the residents of Lamar County, especially our black residents, and to my family and friends, I profoundly apologize, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. If you thought here's the thing. This O'Connor fuck thought he wasn't going to get any pushback. And he just said, I'm just going to put it out there because no one's going to say anything. And of course someone's going to say something. Something outrageous as that. What happens? We're not going to accept your resignation. After O'Connor's reported slur, Texas GOP Governor Greg Abbott responded on Twitter, "This is disgusting, hateful, completely unacceptable. Must apologize. I'm going to step down immediately." Got it. Retired Colonel Alan West, big dick energy over there in Texas, chairman of the Texas Republican Party, issued a blistering video before O'Connor resigned in which West stated, and you can read that for yourself. Holding up an unopened package of Oreos, he said, "Go ahead and send those Oreos to the Lamar County Democrats in Texas," as a sign of dissent, I guess. But so that's it. So he didn't accept his resignation. So what that tells me, and that what should tell you out there in Lazaland, you out there, is that the Lamar County Democrats, the Democrats in Texas, and the Democrats throughout the United States agree with O'Connor's statement that Senator Tim Scott, the Honorable Senator Tim Scott, is an Oreo. That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. Without even self introspection. I think that's what the problem that Democrats have. There's no introspection in their lives. They don't sort of look in upon themselves and go, should I say this? Do I believe Senator Tim Scott is an Oreo? Black on the outside, white on the inside. Because maybe you should think back and go, just because he doesn't agree with my politics, maybe I should probably kick back the rhetoric and, think about it before I send this on Twitter or on Facebook. No. Let's send it out. Let's be a complete fucking racist asshole to a sitting senator of South Carolina. By the way, the first black senator on the Republican Party since, I think, 1897, if I remember correctly. That says a lot. That says a lot about South Carolina, who voted this guy in, who voted Tim Scott in, who have no problem. I'm sure there's some denizens of South Carolina that may have a problem with a sitting black senator as part of their elected government. They're an idiot. They're racist. They shouldn't have a problem. But apparently they do. And I don't know who they are, but I condemn them with the highest degree of admonishment. There you go. So there again, then you got some douchebag like this guy O'Connor in Texas goes, nah, I don't like him because he's an Oreo. Really? That's what you're going to come up with? Why don't you just call him the N-word? Drop an N-bomb, O'Connor, you piece of human shit. Why don't you do that? Then I had more respect for you instead of calling a stupid childhood or a playground word like an Oreo that the Urban Dictionary had to identify as a word in the Urban Dictionary, I guess. This is ridiculous. And this is why I say all Democrats, and this is even including Susan Wabajak and anybody who works at Google and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube who are Democrats and who support Democrat causes, who give money to Democrats, you're racist. Flat out. Prove me wrong. Then if you're not racist, stand up to this O'Connor piece of human shit and say, hey, go fuck yourself, O'Connor. Senator Tim Scott, I may not agree with him politically, but he's not an Oreo. He is a black American. He's an African American. Matter of fact, more importantly, he's an American. And as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't done anything to erode my trust. And already my trust has been eroded in the government thoroughly throughout the last 4, 5, 8 years. This is ridiculous. And then they have to let the Lamar County Democratic Party come out and say, nah, That's fine. We're good with that. Really? You're good with that. You're not going to accept this guy's resignation. You're not going to... You put out this stupid statement. I get it. But then you're going to say, well, we're not going to accept the resignation, but we condemn bigotry in all forms, blah, blah, blah. If you did, you let this asshole, resign and move on. But you can't do that. You couldn't just take the L. You couldn't take the loss. You couldn't take the knee and just go, yep, we fucked up. Let's move on. Let's reevaluate, reconsolidate, and then let's move on. Nope, you couldn't do that. You fucking couldn't do that. That is why the Democrats, all 100% Democrats, are racist. 100% across the board. Prove me wrong.